Boy, do I have a video for you today. And man, every time I tried to film this video, some other story would come out, some other story would come out, some other story would come out. So we gonna knock it all out. All right. So we've got some information from Pokemon, on why they only do 100 or so Pokemon every game, why they don't do bigger Pokédexes. We have a bunch of Overwatch information, some potential screenshots leaked from Pokemon wins and waves. We also have it seems like the White House is getting itself into trouble with Nintendo again. They posted a Poketopia Make America Great Again thing, and it seems like Nintendo might be taking action this time. We also have some news about Amazon wanting to become the king of anime, and much, much more. So let's hop on into it because it's going to be a long one. What is up, YouTube? My name is Mario, aka the Loot Box Hero. Check out the second channel. Go to the second channel is popping, aka the real Super Mario, aka YouTube's greatest fat man here, bringing you another video. All right, so we gonna hop straight on into this. Of course, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell button, do all that good stuff that you require to do in order to continue getting videos from me. I have missed some time in doing these videos, mainly because I was doing the stuff for Pokemon Wind and Waves. Then I wanted to put some stuff on the second channel, and the news stories just piled up until we got this stack that we got to talk about. So the first one we have today is Gamefreak can't add hundreds of new Pokemon or new types every generation, or else new games will take too long to make, says director. If you added like 300 or so new monsters, that'd just be way too many. So I think that he's probably right about this, but I think it's also an issue with Game Freak not wanting to do that many. You know what I'm saying? Why add 300 now when you can add 100 for 3 generations? I mean, that's just don't work harder, work smarter. You know what I'm saying? But here's the article though. So it says there are well over 1,000 Pokemon now, steadily added in batches of about 100 new creatures every generation. It's easy to wonder if developer Game Freak is going to run out of ideas, but historically they didn't seem to be a major concern for the studio. In fact, the devs apparently have so many ideas for new Pokemon that the real challenge is narrowing them down. As veteran Pokemon art designer Ken Sugimori previously explained in an old interview, the reason why there are about 100 Pokemon added per game is not that we can't come up with the ideas, especially when we have new staff. Everyone can come up with unique ideas. The number is set by the duration of the project. So basically, depending on how big the project is, that's where they kind of set the number, you know what I'm saying? So if they want the project to be bigger, or depending on how long the project is going to take, that if they want the project to take a shorter amount of time, they put less Pokemon. If they want to take their time, they put more Pokemon, which means that we could be getting a substantial amount of Pokemon in Generation 10. All right, and again, they didn't say this in the article, but again, I mean, it's been 5 years since the last Pokemon, that last mainline generational Pokemon game. So we'll see, you know what I'm saying? So roughly 100 Pokemon are about as many as the studio felt it could make in a reasonable development cycle. But there was also an added concern: if you added like 300 new monsters, that'd just be too many. We have to think of the balance of the battles, Sugimori said. Balance is also a big part of why only 3 additional types have been added over the years. By adding even one more type, it definitely makes the gameplay more complicated. So when we did that, we had to really look into the battle balance. New moves, there is an infinite combination. If we can solve that problem, we can always add more types. It's not impossible. So basically, balance. And this is kind of true. I mean, the more Pokemon you add at a time, the more you have to balance the game, so the game is not unbalanced. And since Pokemon doesn't do things like, balance patches, you know, there's nothing they can do. Once the Pokemon is out, the Pokemon is just out. So if the Pokemon is busted, the Pokemon is just gonna be busted. Or if the Pokemon is trash, Pokemon is gonna be trash. Unless they, do like a move tutor, or they do an event where the Pokemon gets a specific ability or something, But that's just the way it is. Now, maybe they could change this by doing, balance patches and updating the game that way. But then that would just be more work to do. So you'll put more monsters in and then have to do more work. And yeah, it is what it is. It's a weird cycle, but I kind of understand where they're coming from. Personally, I don't think we need any new types. I think the type chart is fine. But more Pokemon would be fun though. All right, maybe 150, 180, something like that would be nice, All right, so we move on to the Pokemon Generation 10 stuff. So we have Makio and Roses over at Pokios.com. So if you ever, Pokios.com is actually pretty cool. They're actually a pretty good site for information, especially when it comes to the leaks and stuff. You know what I'm saying? They categorize all that stuff over there. So they're kind of like the yin to like Cerebi's yang. So Cerebi is really good for official information, and Pokios is good for like not official information. You know what I'm saying? So they said we might have cracked the code for Gaia/Generation 10 by combining asset lists and leaked locations and map details. So everything points to a full 18 type structure with 3 paths like Scarlet and Violet. 8 gems, 8 Majin, 8 gems, 5 Majin, 5 Nushi/bosses. Gems seem confirmed. Majin and Nushi are mostly clear, with only Ghost/Ground to be uncertain. So essentially, they're saying that they're gonna have a very similar path system to Scarlet and Violet, which I think is actually pretty good. All right, as long as they like find a way to make it so that it's always a good battle, so you're not like over leveled, like, because some people are just going to go down the gym path and do all the gyms, and then by the time you do that, you just smoke everything else because your team is like super powerful. As long as there maybe like some kind of scaling. I don't know if they're going to do that, but you got a new engine. I mean, you might as well push that J and see how hard it can go. But I think this is good, and this definitely works for an island-based region, because I mean, you've got all these islands to explore anyway. You can have like, oh, this island has a Majin on it, this island has a boss, this is a bigger island, so it has a city on it, which means it's gonna have a gym. That could be pretty good. That could be pretty good. All right, so then we move into the screenshots. Now I want you to take this with a grain of salt. All right, because I first picked these up and I was like, okay, but after looking at them, I think they're kind of questionable. So they come from PKM Leak. And there's also a video to go with these, but I ain't playing that video. All right, because if I'm wrong, all right, and this turns out to be real, I'm not getting clapped for that. I'm not getting clapped for that. True. So we've got the screenshots here. So we see this first one of the female trainer lady with Pombon, and so far it looks pretty good. I feel like Pombon feels bigger than he was in the trailer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he's bigger. Like he looks pretty big for like a basic starter, a basic non-evolved starter. You know what I'm saying? But the backgrounds and stuff look pretty good. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the water looks good. I will admit the grass does kind of remind me of Legends Arceus, which is why I'm thinking that maybe this could be possibly fake. Because you got to remember that there was that Google AI that could generate like, video game levels or whatever that came out like a couple weeks ago. This could be something that was ginned up. You never know. So then we got another screenshot, and we see this one is a screenshot of, her walking with Pombon. And again, it looks really good. I don't know why they scribbled out the red streak in Pombon's hair. I think this could be like, well, to be honest, this could just be covering up the fact that it's fake. It's entirely possible, because you can see that right here, it looks like a streak. Right here, it looks like the chicken thing is be on the top of a chicken's head. There's also something else that you can see in these photos too. Look at the back. You see Pombon's back has these kind of like tufts of hair, you know, like hair spikes. And then if you look at the other picture, all right, where you see the behind shot, and he doesn't have those tufts of hair. So, and his hair looks normal. It doesn't look like the other one. So unless this one is like some kind of evolution, which I kind of doubt, I'm gonna call fake on this. All right, it looks really good. It looks really convincing. You know what I'm saying? Maybe one is an evolution of Pombon and the other one isn't, but they look too similar to be evolutions. Like, so I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna call fake on this. A tentative fake. You know, but tell me what you think in the comments. Do you think they're real and that one is just an evolution of Pombon and the other, or did this get ginned up in Gen AI? You know what I'm saying? So we move on to the anime section of the video. So we have some news here. So a little while ago, Ufotable made a bunch of announcements about what they were doing for 2026 and going forward. So they announced a Maho, oh boy, Maho Mahotsukai no Yoru.
A few moments later.
Okay, so it's Witch in the Holy Night. So it's another Type Moon visual novel type of thing. So okay, Ufotable always does good with the Type Moon stuff, so that's going to be pretty good. That's coming out this year. Of course, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle is going to IMAX. A Tales of series that, you know, for the 30th anniversary, going to be announced on the 3rd of April. So that's going to be pretty cool. But the future is the thing. All right, so we've got you've got another Taken Rambu show. We've got Demon Slayer Infinity Castle Part 2, so more money for them. But then there's a Genshin Impact project. So Ufotable, all right, Ufotable, all right, big time anime studio known for Sakuga is doing a Genshin Impact anime. Bro, I might have to get into Genshin. All right, I might have to get into Genshin Impact, bro. They're gonna make me play a daggone gacha game. Bro, how is Genshin? Is Genshin good? I've never played any of the gachas. I've never played Genshin. I've never played ZZZ. You know, which one is the best gacha game for me to try? All right. Tell me in the comments if you want to. You know. So the next big anime story we have is from Anime Updates, and it's Amazon Prime Video Vice President Gaurav Gandhi aims to be the #1 anime streaming service globally. Given that we are the home of the best anime, we want to become the preferred destination for anime content globally. So I have issues with this, mainly because Amazon has a very sordid history with anime. Okay, for one, I don't want any company to be the king of anime. Like, I want the companies to kind of like have, you know, different shares of anime. I don't want one to be more powerful, because if one company gets too much power in anime, they're gonna screw it up. Look at what's going on with Nintendo and Sony and Crunchyroll. All right, one of the worst things to happen to anime was the American company selling the American company to the Japanese company. All right, the Warner Brothers selling Crunchyroll to Sony was a terrible idea. Right up there with Sony buying Right Stuff was also a terrible idea. All right, and now Crunchyroll is kind of dookie butter. All right, you know, but Amazon has a very sordid history with anime. We've they did those AI dubs. They're still trying to do, by the way, they're still trying to do these garbage AI dubs.
You stupid vampire. Don't you know that I can't even catch rabbits?
You can escape now, landlord. I can at least buy you some time.
Hold on. What are you even talking about?
No. All right. Not to mention, do I have to tell the anime strike story one more time? All right. If you don't know, right, back in the day, they had this service called Anime Strike, right? And it was where you watched anime on Amazon Prime. The problem is they made you pay for this service. Amazon Prime is already a service in itself. You pay what, $14, $15 for Amazon Prime? And then on top of that, to get Anime Strike, to watch anime on Amazon Prime, you had to pay an additional $7. Okay, so now you have to pay Jeff Bezos $21 a month to watch anime on a service that you already pay for. Amazon, you need to go about your business. So now we move on to one of my favorite segments of the show. It is called What's Wrong with Marvel Rivals, where we talk about all the stuff going on with Marvel Rivals, because Marvel Rivals is kind of lame. So first though, we got this one. This one came up a while ago, last month, but they brought in Elsa Bloodstone because of course, they can't stop copying Overwatch, so they had to copy Ash, and they had to find a Marvel equivalent of Ash and Bob. So we got Elsa Bloodstone and her weird demon man. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about the Punisher, okay? Because the Punisher got this voice line, this interaction with Elsa Bloodstone.
So, you're the broad who hunts monsters, huh? My kind of girl.
Sorry to burst your bubble, but I'm no one's kind of girl. Especially yours.
You sure?
Police! Help! Help! Police!
We'd make a hell of a pair. If you're lucky, I might even let you raid my armory.
Say that again?
If you're lucky, I might even let you raid my armory.
I found that comment to be very suspect.
Please tell me that wasn't a euphemism.
Yeah, so Frank Castle, the guy that has his whole story is about the fact that he's trying to get revenge for his wife, is out here hitting on random demonic British broads. Wow, that's crazy, man. That's totally honoring that character. Not to mention, bro, did he just digivolve into like Duke Nukem out of nowhere? Like, that feels like a Duke Nukem line. He even sounds like Duke Nukem when he says it. Like, that's crazy, dog. You know what I'm saying? Just no respect for classic Marvel characters. Not to mention, what was that whole bit about, like, hey, I'll let you raid my armory.
Hey, yo,
What does that mean, sir? All right, is he trying to get pegged by the demonic British lady? Marvel Rivals, cuz. I can't see how you let children play this game. It's crazy. So, with more issues with Marvel Rivals, this one is a bigger issue. All right, this one's a bigger issue than the other stuff. So, apparently, there is a bounty program in Marvel Rivals that allows people to pay other people to throw other people's games. And they out here targeting people. All right, they got bounties on people. Like, bro, how do you have a competitive game in a situation like this? Kind of crazy. So it says, dear rivals, we have recently identified a disturbing trend within our community: incentivized throwing. See, where players are enticed by third-party bounties to deliberately sabotage matches. All right, this behavior not only undermines the integrity of our game, but also tarnishes the experience for honest players who are committed to fair competition. Yeah, tell that to that dude that was trying to get in that tournament and half his team was throwing. They was up in that jet playing like they was playing a cozy game, and that man was trying to win some money. This has been going on for a minute. It says, in light of this, we want to make our position clear. We maintain a strict zero tolerance policy against any form of malicious disruption. To combat this issue, we're implementing a specialized investigation protocol focused on identifying and addressing negative gameplay linked to these external bounties. Accounts found to be violating our policies will face serious repercussions. You will be banned for 9 hours. You got to sit in the corner, sir. You're accepting money to screw over people's games. Yo, accounts, I said that part. Including but not limited to permabans. Oh, they might permaban you in this free-to-play game. We strongly advise players against jeopardizing their valuable accounts and hard-earned progress for the sake of temporary incentive. So yeah, all right, people getting paid to throw Marvel Rivals games. That tells you how crazy that game happens to be. Because in Overwatch, people will throw for free. Okay, we throw for free, all right, because we got freedom over here. You know what I'm saying? That's just crazy, bro. I don't understand that game. So speaking of the better game, the superior game, Overwatch. So we have Overwatch news. So we got a buttload of Overwatch news stacked up while I was not doing these videos. So the first one is, of course, we're getting a new collab, and it is Neir Automata. And they are about, remember what I said when they did the Hello Kitty collab? $1 billion. It's $1 billion year for Overwatch. They're gonna make $1 billion, bro. All right, Neir Automata already is a Gooner game. So you're gonna have a Gooner game collabing with a Gooner game with Gooner characters. Oh, bro, they knew what they was doing. They knew exactly what they was doing. But see, here's the crazy part about this, though. Look who getting the skins. Kiriko, Vendetta, Wu Yang, Mercy, and Lifeweaver. So, Kiriko and Mercy in there. No Venture. I mean, it would have been funny if they made Venture, NS. That would have been funny. That would have been funny, but I mean, I don't think it really matches his their silhouette. But bruh, Kiriko, daggone 2B skins, bro. Them jams gonna be everywhere. All right. And speaking of, have you seen the Overwatch Rush skins? I forgot about this, right, bro? The first Overwatch Rush legendary skin is twerking pop star Kiriko.
I know what kind of man you are.
Bro, the mobile team said, look, we in it to win it, cuz. We in it for the money, all right? Give us the money, okay? They put out twerking a pop star Kiriko. That's crazy. That is diabolical, sir. Okay, that's diabolical. All right, but back to the regular Overwatch. So so we got a couple of new a little bit of news on the new heroes. So the female damage hero is gonna have a skill shot. So Alec Dawson did an interview with Damsies, and the upcoming hero female DPS gonna have a satisfying skill shot. So this is a good and a bad thing, because good skill shots are good for people who are skilled. They're terrible for people who are not skilled, okay? Because you are not gonna hit that shot. All right, I feel like this is gonna be another Sojourn situation where, in the hands of somebody who is skilled, this person is gonna be a deleter of souls. In the hands of everybody else, this person is going to be trash. Okay, that's the way it's gonna be, And a lot of people got mad. A lot of people got pissed off with Overwatch because of the Sojourn skill shot. Nobody likes to get railed by Sojourn, okay? All right, you know what I'm saying? Shoot, so I can already see the one-shot conversation is going to come up again, and people are going to be talking about Widow and Hanzo and Sojourn and the new person. Now, they say that current theories point to Frankie from the Deadlock Rebels. I hope that's not the case. All right, because we already have enough discussion, quote unquote, about Overwatch not doing conventionally attractive characters, or they're doing too many conventionally attractive characters. We already got that. We already got the Ayn Rand face thing. We don't need another controversy, right? Because technically, Frankie is supposed to be like a plus size, dark skinned woman. Right, so she kind of like Medea, all right. And if this character does not look anything like Medea, all right, she does not look plus size. She might be dark skinned, but definitely not plus size. So if they come out here and they did Ozempic Frankie, I can already see it now. Like, oh my gosh, They're trying to delete everybody. They're just making conventionally attractive characters. They just want characters that people like. They don't want the eyeballs. I can already see the discourse, bro. I don't feel like it. Make her somebody else from the Deadlock game. Or make her one of the freaks that work with Hazard. Make her somebody else. All right, put Frankie off for a little bit and make this character a different person. All right. There's a new map or a map rework coming every season of 2026. So it says that the team will be prioritizing core maps this year, with every season introducing either a new map or a rework. So that's pretty good. So that means that next season we should be getting a new map or a rework. Now, I think that they're going to do this for two reasons. One, everybody was complaining last year because we didn't get any new core maps last year, and they were focusing on Stadium. And two, doing the map reworks now gives them a chance to like rework the maps for story purposes, kind of like they did with Gibraltar. You know what I'm saying? So they can do stuff like that. You know, so this is pretty good. But the one map that we were all kind of looking for, Atlantic Archaeology, might not be one of them maps though. Update on Atlantic Archaeology. Even though the map was first shown over a year ago, Alec Dawson confirmed with Dempsey's that it is not slated to be released this year. So that map is not coming out this year. And I have a theory on why this is, okay? I think this map's not coming out this year because this map was supposed to be a Clash map. I believe that they're going to completely retrofit this map into one of the other modes because they got rid of Clash. I bet you money this was supposed to be a Clash map. All right, because you can look at the little picture here and it looks perfect for Clash. The little islands, because you know Clash has like 4 points, right? 3 or 4 points. All right, and what you do is you take a point and you take a point, like you start off in the middle and you know you take points either back or forward, and if you push all the way to your enemy spawn and you take all those points, you win. Or the enemy could swing the game and push you back and start taking your points. Like, it was actually a pretty fun mode, but people complained that they was getting steamrolled, and of course, you know, they didn't want to play the mode no more, so they got rid of the mode because, you know, Overwatch likes to pander to people. I bet you money this was a Clash map and they're gonna retrofit it into something else, like a control map or something. Why? All right, so the last Overwatch story of the day. There's been 50 lamb of these bad boys. So this one's the big one though. So it says potential Overwatch TV series update. So Jonah Faris says Blizzard is looking to expand into film and television, adding that every one of our IPs could be some of the greatest linear media experiences that the world could experience. Near-term discussions are already underway. So essentially, they looking to make a TV show. Overwatch is looking to get on TV. All right. Now, I mean, I think it's a little late for this, even though Overwatch is back and it's popular. I mean, it's a little different than that 2016, 17, 18 popularity. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, Overwatch TV show would be good though. All right, especially if you can find a way to get an anime company to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, bruh, an actual anime for Overwatch, fire. Cause I know they're not gonna do it like they do the cinematics because that would cost way too much money. All right, one of the reasons why they don't do the cinematics all the time is because they cost way too much money. And so doing even a 30-minute show with that level of animation every week, bro, you talking about millions of dollars. Okay, all right, I'm talking about you spending like, you know, Star Wars series money, you know, on an animated series. So 2D animation would be good, or anime style would be fine. Just get it on TV. All right, I don't necessarily need a movie. Movies are very hit or miss. All right, not to mention I think Blizzard might be a little traumatized from movies because of the Warcraft movie, which personally I liked. All right, but all the critics was like, yeah, it's not really good, not go like it. So do a good TV show, get an anime studio to do it, and rock on. You know what I'm saying? All right, so we have a weird piece of Xbox news. So Xbox dropped some news. So Asha, okay, so I actually didn't cover this because I was doing other stuff when this happened. So Xbox has went through a huge shift in their management. So Phil Spencer retired. He just dip moded. He just left. I feel like he was pushed out. All right, I'm not gonna go mess around. I feel like he was pushed out. So he retires from Xbox. And the same day, Sarah Bond also quits Xbox. She leaves. All right. And so then the same day they announced that Asha, another Indian, because of course, you know, this is Microsoft. So if it's a management position, you got to keep it on the subcontinent, if you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So Asha was promoted to the head of Xbox, and Matt Booty was made the president of Xbox. And Asha is from the AI team, so GG's to y'all. So she made an announcement, though. Her first big announcement was that where we talked about our commitment to the return of Xbox, including Project Helix, the code name for our next generation console. Project Helix will lead in performance and play your Xbox and PC games. Looking forward to chatting about it. So essentially, they're making a PC. That's what Project Helix is going to be. It's going to be a PC, kind of like the Steam box. You know what I'm saying? That's essentially what it is. Because it says, oh, it can play your Xbox and your PC games. Basically means it's going to be a PC, which means it's going to cost you $50 in this economy. You know what I'm saying? Now, the big thing about this is the very same week that this was announced, Sony announced that they were pulling PC support. Tell me that's not connected. All right, I'm not a big conspiratorial person no more, but tell me that's not connected. All right, Sony got wind that Xbox was making a PC, and they was like, oh, yeah, we're not gonna put our games on PC no more. Yo, Sony is petty. They are petty, man. That's wild. So basically, Xbox might have reignited the console wars, really, because I mean, you know what I'm saying? Now exclusives are going to become a bigger thing. All right, you know, if this happens, Xbox might pull their exclusives back. You know what I'm saying? And the console war might reignite again. She might. The AI lady might turn the ship around. We'll see. You know. So, speaking of turning the ship around, I kind of wish we could turn our ship around, but here it is, though. So, the White House has been tweeting again using popular properties to promote socio-political stuff, which is always a fun thing. So of course, Poketopia or Pokopa is big right now. So they did a Pokopa tweet with the Pokopa map, and they had "Make America Great Again" with Pokopa text. And I'm like,
ooh. Come on, my nigga.
Okay, I mean, this is a weird thing to do, but hey, okay, you know what I'm saying? And of course, everybody in that tweet has made their own versions of this. So you've got one person that did the obligatory F ice because, you know, I mean, the left is you know, anything but creative, I guess. And then somebody else said release the full Epstein files. You know, which, okay, you know what I'm saying? But the one I like, this is the one I like. This person said, make the White House not tweet again. That would be amazing, okay? All right, because the person running the White House Twitter, don't get me wrong, I like the edgy stuff, you know what I'm saying? I like the memes, but eventually there comes a point in time where you need to be the White House Twitter account and kind of not be an edgelord. I know the president's an edgelord, but at least give us the illusion that he's not. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, this is not really a new thing in politics. This has been going on for a long time. Like, anybody remember the during the Joe Biden election? I think it was 2020 when Joe Biden did this with the Joe Biden's team did the Animal Crossing thing where they made like an Animal Crossing village for the Joe Biden campaign. And then don't forget this classic gem.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Yeah, Pokemon go to the polls. So yeah, this is not just like the cringe does not just exist on one side. It's something that's been around for a minute. But, you know, it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? But, of course, people have been telling Nintendo to take action. They've been telling them this ever since the Pokemon thing from last year. Now it looks like that might be the case. But not for what you think, though. So, Nintendo is suing the U.S. government over tariffs. Yep, Nintendo filed a lawsuit with the United States Court of International Trade. So this is interesting. This is an interesting one indeed. I did not see this coming. When I was getting ready to record this video yesterday, which for y'all will probably be like Thursday. When I was going to record this video, this came up. I mean, this came up on Friday. And I was like, bruh, come on, dog. Now I got to do some research. I can't even drop the video today. Nintendo of America is suing the United States government over the sweeping tariffs President Trump put in place last year, according to a complaint filed Friday in the United States Court of International Trade and obtained by Aftermath through the Supreme Court. Though the Supreme Court has stymied the tariffs for the time being, the situation remains in flux for companies manufacturing goods outside the United States and sent stateside. The government struck down the tariffs on February. Supreme Court struck down the Supreme Court struck down the tariffs on February 20th, but Trump vowed to impose a new 15% tariffs on many global imports under Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974. 24 states are suing over the new tariffs. As of Thursday, more than 1,000 companies have also sued the United States government for what they say is illegal implementation of these tariffs. Those companies include Costco and FedEx. So Nintendo is not alone, okay? So everybody is coming together to fight the new tariffs. So I've already kind of talked about tariffs on the channel back when the Switch 2 was coming out, which is why Nintendo is suing, by the way. So if you want a detailed explanation on what's going on with the tariffs, you can check out that video. It's on the third channel, but I'll link it in the description. And I might repost it. Maybe I'll repost it over here. But essentially what's happening is Trump is trying to, he believes that these countries are screwing us over. And so he's going to implement tariffs on all these countries to equalize the trade deficits. But that's not how any of this works, because the reason why these countries have trade deficits with us is because they don't have the manufacturing capacity that we do. They don't have the population, they don't have the territory, the resources, or the capacity that we do for manufacturing. Thus, they can't keep up with our economy. Thus, they have to tariff us, because if they don't, we will flood their markets and they will destroy their own domestic economy. All right, we don't have to tariff them because our economy is bigger than theirs, and they're not a threat to us. The only people that are a threat to us economically are probably like China, and then the countries that have growing manufacturing cores that China can use, like Indonesia, Vietnam, places like that. You know, so you know, it's understandable if you just tariff those countries, but tariffing the world is kind of dumb. It is. I'll be honest. As much as I have supported the president in the past, that the tariff thing has always been kind of dumb. You know, Nintendo of America's lawsuit is largely targeting refunds of the previously imposed tariffs that the Supreme Court struck down. The Supreme Court found that Trump could not invoke the International Emergency Economic Powers Act of 1977 to put the tariffs in place. Nintendo of America's lawyers list that the United States Department of Treasury and the Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent, Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, Office of the United States Trade Representative and U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer, United States Custom, basically all these people. There's a bunch of people from the Trump administration on the docket for this case. So, yeah. So essentially, since the Supreme Court stymied the tariffs, now there's basically companies are trying to get refunds for all those tariffs that they had to pay, that they basically made us pay because they increased the price. So interesting how this mess is going to work out. You know what I'm saying? So it says, through several pages of the complaint, Nintendo's lawyers recount that tariff situation beginning on February 1st, when Trump issued the executive orders imposing new tariffs. The months that follow were chaotic. The situation changed rapidly as tariffs were increased, paused, and then increased again. Tariffs reached over 125% for goods coming from China, before they were reduced to 34% in May. Throughout multiple legal challenges, the Trump administration continued to impose tariffs. Nintendo lawyers say that the violation of the International Emergency Economic Powers Act of 1977, Nintendo lawyers say, and why they are entitled to a refund of the tariffs paid during this period in February 2025. So basically, they're looking to get a refund for all the tariffs that they had to pay. Now, I think Nintendo is in a specific position because Nintendo never increased the prices, whereas a lot of other people did, right? You know what I'm saying? Nintendo did not, they delayed the pre-orders for the Switch 2, but they did not increase the price of the Switch 2, which means they probably ate these tariffs, all right? Because I like I said, the price for the Switch 2 was probably locked in, but I think they probably ate those tariffs. And I think that's probably why they're willing to sue to get that money back. All right, so that's crazy, man. And like, the thing is, I've never been a fan of the tariffs. You know what I'm saying? And this actually explains a lot. This probably explains why Doug Bowser left. Doug Bowser was probably not willing to do this because he knows that this is probably going to be like a media poop storm. Because every time companies really go at the government, you know, the president likes to go after, you know, private institutions. So I wouldn't be surprised if something like that was to happen. You know what I'm saying? So this could be why Doug Bowser left. Not to mention Doug Bowser was the one that said that it wasn't about the tariffs. You know, so that's pretty much interesting. I've read that Trump or the administration is not willing to pay the refunds. So Trump was basically like, you know, we don't pay refunds here, okay? We're about making America great again. And you know why America is great? Because we don't pay refunds. We never do, never have. Maybe under Joe Biden, maybe Joe Biden paid refunds. I don't pay. So if you want refunds, you might want to go to China because it's their fault. It's China's fault. It always has been. China did it. If they didn't want to flood our market with cheap garbage, straight crap, maybe we wouldn't have to do the tariffs. But because of China, here we are. Oh my gosh, man. I never thought I would see the day, man. Nintendo versus America. This gonna be a WrestleMania match for the ages right here, bro. Can the Nintendo Ninjas beat SEAL Team 6? Yo, tell me what you think in the comments down below. I'm gonna get out of here because this video is ungodly long. Tell me what you think in the comments down below. What you think about America versus Nintendo? What you think about Amazon trying to take over anime? Tell me what you think in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, people, have yourself a good one, and thank you for watching.